5 kleshas. Kleshas are the sufferings of life. Kleshas are the main reasons why we suffer. And before going on to the Patanjali's 5 kleshas, we were talking about, in general, what is the situation in our daily life. Most of the people have hopes for the future. This is how our psychology works, because we want something out of life. Life meaning any people, object or situation that's going to come in life is going to give it to us, and we want it. But we don't, if you really analyze the whole situation, see, this is going by layer like onions. You're pulling out the layers and ultimately you go to the core. And that's what exactly step by step we do. So people who are miserable, meaning not happy with their current situations, have hopes for the future. So whatever I don't have right now, I want to acquire it. And acquiring meaning I cannot have it in my present situation. So if I could just take it away from you, $1,000, I'll be happy, that's the end of that. But life does not allow that to happen, not right now at least. So somehow, some way or the other, I have to make that $1,000. So I bank on the future. The future of what? I think the future of me, but it's really the future of the whole mankind, or the humanity, or the sansar. Somewhere along the line, somebody will making that $1,000 and give it to me. One way or the other. I'll work for it, I'll work hard for it, whatever I'll do, but at least life basically will give me that $1,000. So I'm asking that $1,000 from life. But why asking? Because I don't have it. Whatever I have, I'm not happy with it. Right. So that's the process of misery. I'm not talking about somebody says, okay, somebody's miserable, depressed all the time. But if you really analyze the psychoanalysis, why somebody wants something in life is because they feel that they're lacking that. So that is the mechanism how the whole world operates, most of the times. Very few people work out of just working. Most of the people work to achieve something, right? And the reason they want to achieve something because they're lacking something. So the state of misery is at the core of most of the people's efforts, right? So when I say misery, it does not mean they are miserable. Misery means they are not at peace in their current situation, right? So you may have everything and you still could be miserable. You may not have anything and you still may not be miserable. So it's your way of looking at life, right?
The way you perceive.
The way you perceive, right. So you could be overweight, you could be unhappy. You could be underweight, you could be unhappy. You may not have any money and you may be happy, but you may have lots of money, you may not be happy. So some people live in a city life, they are not happy, they want to go in a village life. People living in the villages, they want to come to the city. So it's all interpretation of this situation around you. The situation does not make you happy or miserable or rich or poor or whatever. Situation is the same. It's your way of looking at life, right? So now we're going deeper. So first, most of the people who have hopes for the future, what happens is that even though they may be miserable right now, definitely they are, because inside they have a sense of dissatisfaction. So that sense of dissatisfaction should make them miserable. But a lot of times you ask them, and they say, well, it's not so bad. I'm enjoying life because I have this plan and this plan and this plan and that plan. It's going to work out and this and that and all that, and everything is going to be fine. And so they're diluting their misery with the hopes for the future. They know for sure that whatever effort they're putting in, they're going to get the results. And based on the enjoyment that they artificially create, even though results have not happened yet, I buy a stock and I think that it's going to top $200.
Or buy a lottery ticket.
Or a lottery ticket, whatever. All you need is $1 and a dream. So even though I may be miserable right now, I may be dissatisfied, it doesn't show up on my face. So most of the people ask me, say, yeah, I'm fine. But it's all the misery, underlying dissatisfaction is diluted by the hopes that they're going to get something. So their present state is not so bad, I mean, there are some people who will be totally miserable. That's a different story. So, but overall, I'm talking about cross-section of the society, right? But if you really go down, deep down, all your efforts are generated by this sense of dissatisfaction with whatever you have, materially, spiritually, or whatever, right? So it's going to be more dissatisfactions you have, more desires you're going to have, more hopes you will have, and the more efforts you're going to be putting in, the more your mind will be diverted at 10,000 different places, and the less peace you will have. It's simple as that. So the more happy you are with current situations, more acceptable it is, the less hopes and less desires you will have, and less efforts you will be needed to do in life, and the more peace you will have. Simple as that. So the poverty, like I said, it could be mental or physical, material or mental. But the same situation can create different outlook. Say a girl is born. Mother wanted a boy and father wanted a girl. Father is happy, mother is not. Same girl giving happiness to one person and miserable situation to another. Because the original desire was of boy and mother didn't get the boy, so she's unhappy. So ultimately happiness and all that is again going deep within, right? So, so when I say whatever dissatisfaction you have, you're gonna be asking from life. So you're begging. You basically are a beggar. You want something that you don't have, and you're asking from the life. Now, we don't realize that life involves all the people, all the situation, all the objects around you, right? And for example, if a couple wants to have children and they cannot have it, a lot of people will be working for it. They will be working first of all to make money so that they can afford the insurance. Then some gynecologists will have to work for it. Pharmaceutical companies will have to work for it. So IVF, in vitro fertilization specialists will come into the picture that the couple cannot get pregnant. So all these things will come into action before their hope will be fulfilled. So a lot of external situations will be required so that one person's dream can be fulfilled, right? So we don't realize that whenever we do make the efforts, we think that our efforts will realize the goal that we really wanted. But in that goal, a lot of people contribute. And in fact, your own existence also happened because of so many people's contributions, starting from your parents. Food they eat, their parents, their genetic structures which were offered to them. So a lot of universal forces got together to create you. And in between, we think that we are the doer. That's where the ego comes in the way. We think that we did everything. So we set a goal, and whenever it does happen, we don't realize that so many universal forces go to get together to fulfill your goal. So we are insignificant, but we don't realize that. But we think that we are the doer, and that's where all the problems come. So the state of mind is decided by your satisfaction or dissatisfaction with whatever you have, right? So when you are miserable, when meaning you are not happy with life, that's the last person who will turn to religion. I'm recapturing some of the things so that at least we can come up to date. So a miserable person does not like to come to religion because religion is all about abstract. It's about nothingness, something that is infinite, something he cannot handle it with two hands. There is no shape, there is no size of Atma, Paramatma. So it's a concept. And that's a concept that is beyond the material planes. Right? So a miserable person is miserable because he doesn't have certain finite things. Doesn't have enough money, or doesn't have a wife, or doesn't have a girlfriend, whatever may be the case. And he's going to ask for it from the life. So he's putting demands from the life to get whatever he wants. The life, the sansar, is all about finite things. Could be people, objects, or situation created by people and object. So it's all material. Something that he can see, he can touch, he can feel, he can smell. Right? So he's so involved in material world. The last thing he wants to get involved in an abstract spiritual world. And that's what religion is about. Because for him to grasp that is out of his world, because his mind says, well, let me make this $1 million and then I'll turn to religion. Let me do this, let me build a big house or whatever. So he's so tied up because he has so many hopes from the life. And he's so sure that these tomorrows are going to come. So he has to make preparations. And the preparations has to be done in the present so that he's ready for what the things that to come. Not realizing that 80-90% of the hopes that you have are not going to materialize. Because his today is not good. His tomorrow is going to become his today. Tomorrow, of course, but it will be still today. And he's going to be, what is common between today and tomorrow is state of mind. He has $1 million today. He's not happy. Tomorrow, down the road, he's going to make $1.5 million. But from today until tomorrow, he's still carrying that state of mind of dissatisfaction with whatever you have. So even with 1.5, he's not going to be happy. Even with 3 million, he's not going to be happy. That dissatisfaction is going all along, traveling with him all the time. So external situations has nothing to do with happiness. But he thinks that that will make him happy.
The same example you gave for the king, when the death came to his
Right,
door.
exactly. It was never enough.
Never enough.
Yayati, right.
Yayati.
So, very few people, and sometimes you find miserable people turning into religion, but they turn religion into business again. Like, why people turn to life? Because they want to work hard and make money. And the life will give them some rewards, that they will build a house or whatever, right? So there is a business going on. I'm going to work for it and you give me whatever. But a lot of people come to religion also with the business mind. So they turn temples into their shops. That, okay, I'm here, I'm donating this much, I'm expecting you to, I'm earning some punya. So that again, they're spoiling the religion. So very few people, they come to religion where they're happy with everything they have, but they want something more from Paramatma. They want to realize enlightenment. They have active interest. They want to know what are we made out of, what is this life is about. They have curiosity. So that's a very few percentage of the people going in the right direction. So what happens is, when you are miserable, the problem is we don't realize that there is nothing to ask from this life. But we keep on asking for it. And life is not misery, it is a play of God. The God is dancing, and it is abundance. There is plenty for everyone if we keep our desires under control. It's the desires that make us poor, right? So it's not necessarily a big list of have-nots. I have not this, I have not that. It's not just that. Life is full of abundance if you're happy with what you have. It is really the ecstasy that you can live in, like Mahavir and Buddha and Patanjali, if we just keep our desires under control. So what happens is, the whole process is once you are miserable, you cling to life. And you attach yourself to the life. And when you attach to the life, the more miserable you will become. Because now you have put down 100 desires. Out of that, say 50 got fulfilled. But the other 50 are still not fulfilled. So whatever you did fulfill, the joy that you should get out of that is not there, because your eye is on the next target. So the more you cling, the more miserable you're going to become. And it's just going to multiply till the end of life. And then it says, oh my God, life is coming to an end. And that's when really the lesson comes up. So another reason we want to cling, so that's one of the reasons that we discussed, that why people cling to life. So clinging to life, Patanjali calls it abhinivesh. Abhinivesh means is desire to live. I don't want to die. Because I still have a lot of things to fulfill. I don't want to die yet. Right? So that's called abhinivesh. Abhinivesh is the clinging to the life. So That's one reason, is because we expect something out of life, expect to get something out of life. So that's one reason. The second reason is because we have not lived the life yet. Every single moment that passed, we never really enjoyed. Either we were worrying about the past, or more often we were worried about what's going to come in the future. How are we going to plan out for the future? What are we going to do to get what we want? And the present moments have just passed us by. The river of life has just flown through, and now we realize that we really have not enjoyed life. So we have another expectation out of life, that somewhere along the line we will be able to enjoy life. But all this time we just kept on making preparations for future pleasure to come, but it never comes. So that is another reason we feel that we have not lived life. And that's when I told you the story of Yayati with his 1,000 sons. At the end of his 100 years of age, he didn't want to die. So one son died, another son died, 10 sons died. He got 1,000 years in life. Still at the end, he was not satisfied. So life is not full of, goals and measured, things that are going to make you successful, achievements, this and that. That's not life what's about. Postponing life is really a sin. The more you postpone that I'm going to have pleasure tomorrow, and let me just work for it today so that I can have pleasure tomorrow, is a wrong approach, right? So if you want to live, you have to live right now, here and now. And every single moment you have to be involved 100%. And that's the only way you can live life. So the moment that you have in front of you is the creation of consciousness. The consciousness is everywhere right now. It's in you, it's in me, it's everywhere. It's in the rug, it's in the light, everywhere. There is a dance of life going on. It's full of charged consciousness. So when you get involved, that's your bhakti. That's your dance. You're dancing with Paramatma. Every single moment that He's presenting to you, you are involved in that, and you yourself are part of that dance. So every moment that you have to be happy, but to be able to enjoy the present moment, we have to remove that misery. Misery that I call is the dissatisfaction out of life. So when the life is in front of you, it's dancing in front of you, it's like a beautiful dancer is right in front of you, and you want something more. What is she going to do? Say, the heck with it. I'm walking away. So you're not appreciating what is in front of you, and you're thinking of something more. Oh, maybe I wish I could have some more exotic dance or whatever. And the dancer is just going to walk away. And that's what life does. Life never gives to somebody who asks for it. But it always gives to somebody who does not ask for it. So when there is a desire, the life shuts off. When there is no desire, life just opens its arms and says, come, dance with me. Right? So a single moment that you live really is better than 1,000 years of clinging to life, which is worthless. So clinging to life, stop looking from life any kind of answers. That someday my life is going to get better. Someday this is going to get better. Someday things will change and things will get better. No, they are what they are. And this is all you get. And do you remember a movie, Life, This Is As Good As It Gets? Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah.
It was a nice movie, right?
As good as it gets.
As good as it gets. So he's crazy. He's a good actor. So he walks around. He's a nutcase. He goes to see a psychiatrist, and he wipes off all the door handles, and then he goes to the elevator and he jumps over there so he doesn't stay in the middle, and things like that. He's walking on the sidewalk. He doesn't make sure he doesn't step on the crack. He jumps over, and things like that. So he goes to the psychiatrist, and then he has a lot of issues with life, and then he has a good relationship with a nice woman, and she really takes care of him and this and that. But he wants more. He wants more and more and more, and finally she ends up walking away. And then finally he realized that life is just as good as it gets. So you have to be happy with what you have, right?
This is it.
Right.
This is it, yeah. The one you said.
This is it.
Yeah, this is it.
So Patanjali says abhinivesh rather, is a strong desire for life and which dominates